Behind me over here is my new friend, the 2018 Tesla Model 3. It's the long-range battery version. It has 310 miles of range, and that extra range that you're going to get out of that car versus the base battery version, which is going to come out later this year, it's about a $9,000 upgrade. And I am here to tell you today that having that car with that battery upgrade is probably a waste of your money. The Tesla Model 3 is an exceptional new option to the electric vehicle market. Loaded with technology, innovative design elements, and a driving efficiency that's probably the best of any electric car on the market, it makes the Tesla Model 3 one of the best ways to spend your money when buying a new vehicle. Although Tesla has been able to produce a product that will allow owners to drive comfortably, knowing that they have a 310-mile range, it begs one question. Are the people buying the long-range Model 3 really getting the best bang for their buck? Let's take a look at some of the details and figure it out. At the time of this video, the short-range Tesla Model 3 has not yet been released. When the base model comes out, the car will be able to achieve a range of around 220 miles and will hold a sticker price of $35,000 before options. The long-range model that is currently being offered comes with a $9,000 premium for the upgraded battery. Let's talk about that $9,000 upgrade. With 310 miles of range, it is going to be a great car for anybody, but that is an extremely expensive upgrade. So let's say that you finance the car for 5 years. That $9,000 upgrade would roughly translate into an extra $150 per month, and that adds up to about $1,800 per year. Anyone who is buying the vehicle has to determine, is the extra $1,800 per year worth the 100-ish miles of range that you get? When spending your money on a car, it is important to consider how you're going to use it. Let's take my needs as an example. My commute to work every day is 22.5 miles in each direction. There might be 1 or 2 days a week that I run about 10 miles worth of errands after work. If I'm plugging in my car and charging it to 90% overnight, there is going to be no way the 55 or 60 miles that I might drive every day is going to be anywhere near 310. I know what you're thinking. If you haven't lived with a short-range EV like I have for the last year, what if you want to take the car on a trip? Well, for me and my Nissan Leaf with a range of about 80 miles, I don't. We have an additional car in the family that we use for our road trips. The point of my Nissan Leaf is to be my commuter car and to save me a little bit of money. Even if I was in a single car household, that does not mean that I need to pay for 310 miles of range. Again, it all comes down to my use of the vehicle. Here's how I look at it. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I spend some time at my family's house in the mountains near Lake Lure. That's 88 miles from where I live. If I wanted to go to the beach, I would most likely go to Myrtle Beach, which is 188 miles from my house. Those are the two drives that are quite a distance from me that I would most likely make. Another trip I might make would be to my brother's house in the Virginia Beach area, which is about 340 miles. That trip either way, in a long-range or standard-range Model 3, would force me to take one supercharging stop. And on a 5.5-hour drive, I'm going to want that stop anyway. Apart from that, I have family in New York, Connecticut, Indiana, and Florida, and the most I've ever paid for a round-trip flight to any of those places is $330. The way I see it, I would rather save $1,800 a year by not getting a long-range battery that I would most likely never even come close to using, and use that money to fund more vacations and flights to see my family that would otherwise take me a 12-hour drive. Another thing to consider is that the standard range Model 3 is going to have a much lighter battery pack, meaning it is going to drive more efficiently and less weight will decrease the wear on your tires. So who should really be considering the long-range Model 3 over the short-range? The long-range version is going to be good for people who live in condos or apartments and may only be able to charge once a week. Also, people who travel often, whether it be for work or vacation, and those that have extremely long daily commutes. Seriously, this Model 3 that I've had my hands on definitely has its benefits with a 310-mile range, but the cost of it does not factor into my lifestyle. If you have the money and you can afford the long-range model with no problem, by all means, it is a fantastic car. My point is, don't blow your whole budget on a giant battery pack that you're probably never going to use if you don't really need it. Save some of that money and use it to have fun. Just use your money wisely. So to wrap up my opinion on the long-range version of the Model 3, if you're buying one, you should seriously consider about how you're going to be using it, but that really applies to any electric car or any vehicle for that matter. Things may be different once technology advances and battery prices come down, but in the meantime, you should really consider how that money you're going to be spending should be used wisely. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys soon with more Nissan Leaf updates. Thanks for watching.